Captain Coder here, and in this guide, we introduce how to utilize Unity's awake method to initialize and store frequently accessed components to increase the efficiency of our update loop. This is the fourth video in our 2D platformer project. If you missed the previous video, you can find a link to it in the description below, or you can hop right into this part using the provided Unity package. And if you would like to be notified when the next video is out, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell. Before we hop in, I want to remind you that you can ask questions, share projects, and join the Captain's crew on Discord, or catch me live at captaincoder.live, where I create fun projects like this, chat with the crew, and drink way too much bean water. All right, let's hop in. At this point, we have a very simple player movement script that allows us to move our player back and forth on our platforms. We can move into our wall. We don't get super jaggedy moving in and out of that wall. One thing that you may have realized is that we are using this get component inside of our update method. This is considered a bad practice. The way get component works is it examines the object that it is attached to. So this mono behavior here is attached to our player. If we open up the inspector and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components attached. This is happening every frame. It's coming in and it's searching through these components for a rigid body 2D component and pulling out. This is very simple. The computer can do this very, very fast, but it's happening every frame. Every frame it has to search through these 5 things. That feels pretty inefficient, especially if your computer's running at 60 frames per second. It's doing this 5 times every frame. That's too much. We want to simplify our update as much as possible. We want to have to put as little as possible in our update method. We're going to create a cached value of this get component. The rigid body doesn't change. So we're going to come in here and we are going to add a new variable. We're going to create a private member variable here, private rigid body 2D for our rigid body, like so. We can't actually use get component until our object has been initialized, until the game object is initialized. And so we want to do this when our object awakens into the scene. We can do this using the awake method. So there's another method. Update happens every frame. Awake happens once when the object enters the scene. And so we can use this same code down here to cache the result of calling get component into our rigid body member variable. So I'm gonna do a rigid body here equals, and I put in an underscore here. This is considered a good practice, a good naming convention in C#. And I'm gonna take my get component here, move it up here. So I store this into rigid body. Now I can delete this line of code down here in our update. And instead of using rigid body without an underscore, I'm gonna use rigid body with an underscore to substitute it in. And we have successfully reduced the complexity of our update method by caching this rigid body value into a member variable. Let's run it to verify. So I've clicked play, and now we can check and make sure it still works. And sure enough, we have now cached the rigid body, and we don't have to search for every frame. We have it stored locally and we can just reuse it. All right, now it's your turn. Update your code to cache your rigid body 2D during the awake method, and then utilize it during your update loop. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this guide helpful, and I'm dying to hear from you. Let me know how things went by leaving a comment below or sharing at Captain Coder's Academy. And if you would like to be notified when the next video is out, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell. As always, keep coding, keep growing, be the best you can be, and you are welcome back anytime. Bye-bye.